And we do have Ms. Yoder is logged in, Mr. Fry. Doug, could you try to get in touch with the jail again? They're still not logged in, and just see what's going on.
85, 82. Bradford in the window.
All right, we are on the record now in the people of the state of Michigan versus Terry Yoder. Ms. Yoder, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I am.
All right. We are proceeding today as a video conference that's being streamed to a YouTube channel. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir for the people.
PB Muir on behalf of the people.
Brian Fry on behalf of Terry Yoder.
Thank you. And Mr. Fry, where do we stand with this case today?
Yes, Your Honor, there's been no resolution in this case. We are ready to proceed to trial. However, Ms. Yoder is not in custody at this time, so we'd also be agreeable to setting it out for another pretrial, as I know the court has quite a docket full of incarcerated individuals that still need jury trial.
All right, Ms. Muir, anything to address from the people's side?
Whatever, nope, we would leave it in the discretion of the court.
All right, why don't we set it then for another pretrial on October 6th at 10 a.m. And Ms. Muir, would you be willing to prepare a stipulation in order for that adjournment?
Yes.
All right, anything else we need to address in this case today then?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Yoder, then you can go ahead and log out. You'll need to log back in on October 6th at 10 a.m. You'll use all the same Zoom information that you used to log in today.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for the accommodation this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. All right, sir, you are Tony Bradford.
Yeah.
All right.
Come back here.
Mr. Goldstein, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Bradford? Are you ready to go on the record?
Your Honor, what I was going to tell the court was that Mr. Hartung and I had a lengthy conversation about Mr. Bradford yesterday. I need an opportunity to have a Zoom with Mr. Bradford so I can discuss the contents of that conversation. I would prefer not to rush it this morning because it's going to be rather lengthy. And I'll Zoom with him this weekend.
Okay, so you're asking for another date then?
Yes, Your Honor, fairly soon.
Best I can do right now would be September 8th at 10 a.m.
That's fine, Your Honor. And if we do get the matter resolved, I can always call your clerk and see if we can squeeze it in somewhere else other than a Wednesday.
Yeah, be happy to accommodate you if that's possible with our docket. Would you be willing to prepare a stipulation in order for that, Mr. Goldstein?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'm assuming I can sign Mr. Hartung's name. I'm sorry.
That's
September
fine.
8th, Your Honor?
What time on September 8th, Your Honor?
That was 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Hartung, that needs to be addressed from the people's side?
Not on this case, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Then, Mr. Bradford, if you would, you can tell the officer that you are done in court for today, and we would take Mr. Bynum next if they have him available.
Mr. Bynum?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
while we're waiting, Mr. Murphy, I think we have Mr. Halter here.
Could I have a breakout session with Mr. Halter, please, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello?
All right, Mr. Halter, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to put you in a breakout session so you can speak privately to Mr. Murphy.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Ms. Underwood, I think we have Mr. Vedito here.
Yes, we're ready to go on that, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, we are on the record in the matter of the People versus Davin Stephen Vedito. It's file number 19-19539-FH. Today's the date set for a pretrial conference on violation of probation. We are proceeding as a video conference today. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir for the People.
Phoebe Muir on behalf of the people, and I believe Mike Stevenson is here on behalf of probation.
And Ms. Underwood.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Vedito.
Thank you. And where do we stand with this case today, Ms. Underwood?
Your Honor, I've spoken with Mr. Stevenson and I spoke with my client yesterday. Mr. Vedito is being sentenced in Jackson, I believe on the 12th, Your Honor. So we believe another date after that would be appropriate.
I'm sorry, on the 12th of August?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Actually, the 11th.
Oh, I apologize. My note wrong.
Okay.
Is that sentencing on a felony or a misdemeanor?
Felony.
Do we know what the recommendation is on that, Ms. Underwood?
I believe Mr. Vedito told me there's, I believe there's an 18-month probation. Is there any further incarceration, Mr. Vedito? Sorry. Maybe he's not. Did I freeze?
No, we can hear
No,
you.
we can hear you. Can you hear us, Mr. Vedito?
It's getting a little bit choppy.
Mr. Vedito, I believe we spoke about your recommendation yesterday
Yes.
in Jackson, and I believe that's an 18-month probation. Was there any more jail time on that?
There was 6 months jail time and then 18 months probation.
And Mr. Stevenson, do you have a recommendation on this violation if he were to plead guilty?
I'd like to wait and see what the sentencing is. He indicated it'd be a 6 months jail term. I'm not sure if he'd get credit for time served. So I'd like to take a look at that sentencing once it's completed.
Okay. I just didn't know if we could resolve that today if we knew what that sentence was going to be.
I'd like to wait till after he's sentenced to make sure.
Okay, understood.
Let's adjourn it then until September 15th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Underwood, would you be willing to prepare a stipulation in order?
I will do so, Your Honor. May I sign with your permission, Ms. Mayor?
Right.
September 10th, Your Honor, did you say?
15th.
18th?
15th. 1-5.
It's all getting a little garbled. Okay. 9:15 at 10.
Okay, Mr. Veneto, you can go ahead and log out, and you'll need to log back in on September 15th at 10 a.m. You'll use all the same information you used today.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, sir. And I guess, Ms. Underwood, if you happen to find out that he is in jail at that time, please let us know that as soon as possible so that we can make arrangements to.
I will, Your Honor. I have his family's number, and they keep track. So yeah, that will be possible.
Okay, thank you. All right, and the gentleman at the jail, you are Mr. Bynum.
Yes.
Ms. Goldstein, are you ready to go on the record with Mr. Bynum?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we are on the record then in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Dwight Lee Bynum, file number 20-20102-FH. Today's date set for a pretrial in this matter. We are proceeding as a video conference that's being streamed to a YouTube channel. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. Sneed for the people.
Isaac Sneed on behalf of the people.
David I. Goldstein appearing on behalf of the defendant. I have no objection to proceeding by Zoom, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Goldstein, where do we stand with this case today?
Your Honor, I have not had an opportunity to, I assuming this is going to be Mr. Sneed's case, he and I need to have some further discussions regarding resolution in this matter. So I would ask for first available pretrial.
All right, first available right now would be September 8th at 10 a.m.
That's fine, Your Honor.
So we'll set it for September 8th at 10 a.m. for another pretrial conference. Mr. Goldstein, would you be willing to prepare a stipulation in order for that adjournment?
I will, Your Honor. Mr. Sneed, can I sign your name?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Bynum, I'm going to Zoom with you this weekend, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bynum. You can tell the officer that's with you that you are done in court for today, and we would take Mr. Damon next if he is available. Sorry, Mr. Murphy, I just realized that you had come back, so I've closed the breakout room with Mr. Holt.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Olsaver, who do you want next from the jail?
Tyreek Damon, if you have him available.
Okay. Rolling.
All right. Mr. Murphy, we've got Mr. Halter back. Are you ready to go on the record with him?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay. We are on the record then in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jeremy Scott Halter, file number 21-20411-FH, file 21-20233-FH, and file 21-20234-FH. All of these are set for a pretrial this morning. We are proceeding today as a video conference that's being streamed to a YouTube channel. First, let me have the attorneys place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Meir for the people.
Phoebe Meir on behalf of the people.
Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Halter, who's appearing today via Zoom as well.
All right, and Mr. Murphy, where do we stand with these cases today?
Your Honor, at this time, we are asking for a continuation of a not guilty plea. The prosecution has offered in regards to Mr. Halter's case for Mr. Halter to plead to an attempted possession charge, a operating while impaired or intoxicated or impaired off of drugs or alcohol, third offense. And right now, a domestic violence charge or possibly another misdemeanor arson charge. In regards to this matter, again, Mr. Halter is asking for a continuation of a not guilty plea. We're asking for a jury trial to be set when the court could find it in its time to do so. And would also ask if we could possibly address bond today if there's time in the court's docket.
Your Honor, before we look up trial dates, none of these cases really go together. You know, neither one of them like hinges on the other, I guess I'll say. So we do have an agreement on the possession of meth charge and the OWI third. And I would have no objection if Mr. Murphy wants to plead to the offers on those charges and then just set the arson for trial. I just wanted to throw that out there. I understand if he's not willing to do that, but I wanted to make sure he knew I had no objection to that.
Your Honor, with that from the prosecution from Ms. Meir, I thank you, Ms. Meir. I would ask for another pretrial to be set when the court could find one, and it's scheduled to do so sooner than it would if it was going to schedule just a trial on the matter. I want to talk with Mr. Halter further about if that's something he would want to do or not.
All right. Okay, so first available date I have now is we're up to September 15th at 8:15 a.m.
Your Honor, if the court could schedule us for a pretrial on that day, I believe I could talk with Mr. Halter and see what he wants to do moving forward, if he wants to set everything for trial or do the offer as Ms. Meir had indicated.
All right, and, oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Meir.
I was just going to say, Mr. Murphy and I can talk further too. I think there's some resolution we can reach on the arson. I think there's some middle ground there.
All right. So we'll set it for September 15th at 8:15 a.m. Mr. Murphy, would you prepare a stipulation in order for that adjournment, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Given that, do we need to address anything else today, Mr. Murphy?
I would like to address bond if the court would allow us to.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, there is an order, a no contact order in place right now on this case from Christina Halter, Mr. Halter's wife. We are asking for that no contact to be removed at this time. Ms. Halter has communicated with myself. She wrote a letter to myself. I thought the prosecutor may have gotten a copy of it as well. I'm not sure if the court got one or not. But in it, Ms. Halter does express that she expressed to myself that she believed that the no contact should be removed. She is, or as Mr. Halter has expressed to me and Ms. Halter has expressed, they do have concern about, or concern and I guess sadness, you would say, in regards to Mr. Halter being away from his family as long as it's been occurring. The property that Ms. Halter lives on is property that has been in Mr. Halter's family for quite some time. His family is, his larger family does go there for family gatherings over the summer. There is family functions that have been occurring there. Mr. Halter has been missing because of the no contact. He does understand the reason for the no contact. It's been in place, as does Ms. Halter. So they do understand that it's the court's ultimate decision as to whether or not there should be a no contact. And they do respect that decision. It's just they would ask the court to reconsider at this time. Again, Mr. Halter is asking for it to be reconsidered this time because the length of time this case has been progressing. We do believe that there will be some resolution in regards to the matter. And I do believe that with that resolution that Ms. Halter would agree that the family should be brought back together again moving forward. That's simply what we're asking for, Your Honor. Again, Mr. Halter does understand it's in your ultimate decision, and he does thank the court for the time today. Thank you.
Ms. Meir, any position that the people have?
Yes, Your Honor. These allegations took place in January of this year. So it's been 8 months since this alleged arson. And around the same time was the OWI third and the possession of methamphetamine. So it was clear around the beginning of the year that Mr. Halter was having some issues, maybe some mental health issues or substance abuse issues. And in particular, this arson case, it does have a domestic background. It was not charged as domestic violence because there was no physical contact alleged, but Mr. Halter is alleged to have made some threats to the whole family and to burning the house down, and he did actually start a fire in the home. Those are pretty serious allegations. Mr. Halter was then held on bond for a couple months. And when he was released, his bond was modified to allow him to do outpatient drug treatment. This was in May of 2021, just so the court has procedural background. He was released to outpatient drug treatment and was ordered to have a GPS tether and not be within 3 miles of Christine. At that time, our office had been in contact with Christine Halter, where she indicated she still did not feel safe with Mr. Halter at the home, but wanted telephone contact. She was comfortable with that. So bond was modified to allow telephone contact at that time. To my knowledge, there's not been any issues with that, but within the last month from then, she did fill out a request, a notarized request, I guess, to have the no contact completely lifted. My concern with that obviously is if Mr. Halter has another episode or relapses when back in the home and has another violent episode, I guess we'll call it, and puts Ms. Halter or the family again at risk. I would also worry about the integrity of the case if this is not resolved and we do have to have a trial. I think it's going to be pretty difficult to expect them to not talk about the case. And given that she's, already wanting the no contact lifted further, I worry again, like I said, about the integrity of the case and the safety of Ms. Halter and her family if he is able to go back into the home. As far as I know, Mr. Halter has an established residence with his brother in the city of Adrian, so he's not without anywhere to be. So I would object, but the court should know that Ms. Halter has dropped off a notarized request that the no contact be lifted.
Right, I am going to deny the request to lift no contact provision. I think at this point, we do have what I believe are quite serious allegations that involve potential harm to Ms. Halter. If Mr. Halter wants to see other members of the family, and the no contact order does not, as I read it, prohibit any of that. He just needs to make arrangements with other people in order to get that done. The no contact provision is only with respect to Christina, and so he can see the other members of the family in other ways, but I think it's important to leave the no contact order in place and then deny that request.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Halter, you can log out and you're going to need to log back in. That was September 15th at 8:15 a.m. You'll use all the same login information that you used today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Goldstein, are you ready to move forward with Mr. Damon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Watch. All right, we are on record now in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Tyreek Amir Damon, file number 20-20135-FC. Today's the date set for we also have file number 20-20093-FH. Today's the date set for a pretrial in both of these matters. We are proceeding today as a video conference. It's being streamed to a YouTube channel. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Wise for the people.
Morning, Your Honor. Jackie Wise on behalf of the people.
David I. Goldstein appearing on behalf of the defendant.
Thank you. And Ms. Goldstein, where do we stand with these cases today?
Your Honor, Ms. Wise and I have spent a lot of time talking about these matters. Let's just say that these cases have a rather interesting history, as a result of which there are continuing investigations going on. And I think Ms. Wise and I both feel about 30 days would be necessary to get some progress in these matters.
That's accurate.
All right, so 30 days would take us to the first part of September.
September 8th is fine, Your Honor, for the same date as the other cases. That's fine.
I guess I can squeeze one more in there. So that was, did we have yours at 10 or at 8:15 that day?
10 o'clock, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll set it for September 8th at 10 o'clock. And Ms. Wise, would you be willing to prepare stipulation and orders for those files?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Goldstein, do I have your permission to sign?
Yes.
Thank you.
As many times as you've signed it, you probably sign it better than I do.
All right, Mr. Damon, you can tell the officer that's with you that you're done in court, and we would take Kyle Eichler if they have him available. Call and ask for Kyle Eichler. Okay, I do not have anyone in the waiting room right now. Does anyone know who represents Marty Ray Mitchell?
This is Matt Murphy. I do, Your Honor. We'll try to contact him.
He's here.
Oh, you're Mr. Mitchell? Yes, sir. Okay, if you want to come up to the podium. Sir. Sorry, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Mitchell is here in person.
Yeah, I got the paperwork, excuse me, I need to make a statement. I got the paperwork, read it thoroughly, and it had no description of video.
All right, just hold on, Mr. Mitchell, and we will get to
So I want
your
to make
concerns in a moment.
sure.
Okay, we are on the record now in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Marty Ray Mitchell. It is file number 21-20408-FH. Today is the date set for a pretrial conference in this matter. We are proceeding today as a video conference, other than Mr. Mitchell is in person here in the courtroom. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. Sneed for the people.
Isaac Sneed on behalf of the people.
Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Mitchell. I'm appearing via Zoom. Mr. Mitchell is appearing, if my understanding, in person in the courtroom.
Thank you. And Mr. Murphy, where do we stand with this case today?
Yes, Your Honor, we're going to ask for the court to schedule a jury trial on this matter. Ultimately, we understand that because Mr. Mitchell isn't in custody, that could take some time. So we understand there may be a pretrial scheduled in the interim. So I'd ask the court to schedule another pretrial, but we do want a trial in this matter. Ultimately, I'm going to ask that Mr. Mitchell try to contact my office later this week or next week to schedule an appointment. I want to talk with him more in regards to everything in my office. But again, we are asking ultimately for a jury trial.
All right, this is a 21 case. As you know, we're trying to get all of our incarcerated defendants set for trial. And once we do that, we'll start working on our 20 cases, or 19 and 20 cases, actually, that are not in custody. So I think the best thing to do at this point with Mr. Mitchell's case is to adjourn it for another pretrial, as Mr. Murphy indicated, and hope that we have a better picture of the trial calendar for his case at a later date. Mr. Murphy, how about October 6th at 10 a.m.?
That works fine for myself, Your Honor. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell, is that a date that's problematic for you?
No, it's just the day before my birthday. Just, it's okay. I'll remember it perfectly.
Okay. So Mr. Murphy, would you be willing to prepare a stipulation in order for that date?
Yes, Your Honor. October 6th at 10 a.m.
Correct.
Sir.
Mr. Mitchell, I know you indicated before we went on the record that you wanted to make a statement. I would imagine that your attorney would probably not want you to do that.
It was just that I wanted to announce to you, the court, that I was trying to do my due diligence and do what you asked. I didn't get a Zoom numbers or anything like that in my form that was sent to me. It was a must appear. So that's all I wanted to say, Your Honor. I just wanted to address the court and say, please forgive me if there's any problem.
Gotcha. No, there are no problems. So for the next hearing date, if you prefer to appear by Zoom so that you don't have to come down to the courthouse, you're welcome to do that, and we'll get you the Zoom information.
Yes, sir.
Or if you prefer to be here in person, you have the right to be here in person as well.
Either way, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mitchell. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And then we have Mr. Eichler at the jail, Mr. Murphy.
Yes, Your Honor. Could I have a brief breakout with him and then we could proceed when the court's ready? Thank you.
Yeah, we'll set it up right now. And then what's your name?
Kayla.
Mr. Murphy is in a breakout session with another of his clients right now, so we'll get to you when he's done with that.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'm going to step out of my office for just one moment.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we have Mr. Eichler's back from the breakout session. Ms. Muir had just indicated she needed to step out of her office for a moment, so we'll give her a minute to get back.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was wondering if you could set up when Ms. Muir comes back, a breakout session with myself, Ms. Muir, and I believe Ms. Holly could, because I believe she is a probation officer, can't cover Mr. Eichler.
All right, then as soon as Ms. Muir gets back, I will set that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Guess, Mr. Murphy, while we're waiting for Ms. Muir to get back, we do have Ms. Pate here if you want to take care of her case.
Your Honor, could I have a breakout session with Ms. Pate, please? For 1 minute, that one, we can probably move forward on that one as well.
Here in person.
Oh, she's in person?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, then I'll ready to proceed on the record with Ms. Pate.
Pate, if you want to step up to the podium, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we still don't have a prosecutor, so we're gonna have to wait either way. I apologize, Ms. Pate. We don't have a prosecutor with us at the moment, so if you want to go back and sit down, you can do that. All right, Ms. Muir, Mr. Murphy had requested a breakout session with you and Ms. Holly, so I'm going to set that up now.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, are we ready to go on the record now?
There has been a change in the offer from Mr. Eichler. Could I have 1 minute, please, Your Honor, further? I'm sorry.
Yeah, 1 second.
Your Honor, have we done Andrew Watts yet from MDOC?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I just want to keep track of what we still got to do. Sorry. And then the only other 815 I'm showing we haven't done is the Joseph CV.
Correct.
Okay. Then I think I'm on the same page as you guys.
All right, close the breakout session, and Mr. Eichler will be back in a minute if he doesn't move himself over. All right, we got Mr. Eichler back. Are we ready to go on record?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for those breakout sessions. Thank you.
Okay, we are on the record then in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Kyle David Eichler, file number 21-20412-FH, 21-20413-FH, file 18-18904-FH is set as a pretrial on a violation of probation, and file number 20-19928-FH set for pretrial as well as pretrial on contempt of court failure to appear. Mr. Murphy, or I'm sorry, we are proceeding today as a video conference. It's being streamed to a YouTube channel. Mr. Murphy, or can I ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir for the people?
Phoebe Muir on behalf of the people.
Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Eichler, who's appearing via Zoom from Lillooet County Jail as well today.
All right, and Mr. Murphy, how are we proceeding today?
Yes, Your Honor. In regards to this matter, there has been an offer made that Mr. Eichler wants to accept from the prosecution, I believe. It's for Mr. Eichler to plead to 2 counts of resisting opposing an officer. And then for the absconding charge against Mr. Eichler to be dismissed. And then for the malicious destruction of property charge to be amended to a 1-year malicious destruction of property, 200 to 1,000 that Mr. Eichler would plead guilty to today. In regards to the violation of probation, Mr. Eichler wants to enter a plea of guilty as well. And in regards to, I think there's a contempt of court for missing a court date. Mr. Eichler wants to enter a plea of guilty to that today as well.
Okay, so we would need it. Did I hear you correctly? We'll need an amended information on the malicious destruction of property file.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe Ms. Muir is preparing that right now. I'm sorry, I don't mean to put words in Ms. Muir's mouth, though.
No, I did request that, so it is being worked on. I'll sign it as soon as I get it.
All right, so we will proceed then with Mr. Eichler as soon as we have that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Murphy, would you like to address Ms. Pate's case then while we're waiting?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Pate, if you come back up to the podium, please. We are on the record. You're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Kayla Ray and Isabella Pate, file number 21-20402-FH. Today is the date set for a pretrial conference in this matter. We are proceeding today as a video conference. It's being streamed to the YouTube channel. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir for the people.
Phoebe Muir on behalf of the people.
Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Ms. Pate, who's appearing today in the courtroom, is my understanding as well.
And we do have Ms. Pate here in courtroom with us. Mr. Murphy, where do we stand with this case today?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Pate does want a jury trial in regards to this case. We understand because of the backlog of cases of incarcerated individuals waiting for trial, we understand that it could be some time before one is ultimately set. So I do believe that the best option would be to set another pretrial in this matter. But again, Ms. Pate is asking for a jury trial ultimately at this time.
Okay, so we are in the process of scheduling trials. This is a 21 case where the defendant's not in custody. And so there are many to get on the schedule before this one. I think the best thing to do at this point is adjourn. Mr. Murphy, looking at October 13th at 10 a.m. Is that date work for you?
That works for the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
And just for the record, I'm sorry for interrupting, Your Honor. The offer to Ms. Pate is a 1-year misdemeanor with a 7411 offer. So I want to make sure she knew and understood that offer before continuing the trial.
All right. Okay, so Mr. Murphy, would you be willing to prepare that stipulation in order?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll prepare a stipulation order for October 13th at 10 a.m.
Okay. So Ms. Pate, your next date will be October 13th at 10 a.m. That can be by Zoom if you prefer to do it by Zoom, or if you want to come here to the courthouse, you can do that.
Yeah, I didn't get, pardon me, I didn't get the Zoom meeting number or anything. I just had the same paper that the man before me had told you about. There
Okay.
wasn't anything for me to go through Zoom, so I wanted to make sure I was here.
All right, we will do a notice that includes the Zoom information that will get sent to Mr. Murphy. I'm sure he'll get you that information.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, then. You can go in.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Murphy, I've got Mr. Seavey on the docket. He is not logged in. Do you have any idea where he is?
No, Your Honor, I'll try to contact him. Thank you.
Okay, and then we need jail for anyone else.
Do you want me to call him for anybody?
No, we've got Mr. Eichler, so.
Your Honor, this is Matt Murphy. We've tried to reach out to Mr. Stevie. The number that we have on file, it's restricted. It says that we're not allowed to to contact him. I don't know if he has some sort of restrictions on his line. But the long story short is that we can't contact him right now, so I don't know where he's at.
All right. I do have the amended information on Mr. Eichler, so we can proceed with that. Okay, so we are back on the record in the matter of the People of the State of Michigan versus Kyle David Eichler, file 21-20412-FH, 21-20413-FH, 18-18904-FH, and 20-19928-FH. Mr. Murphy previously put his understanding of a plea agreement on the record. I do have the amended information at this point. So, Mr. Eichler, would you raise your right hand, please? Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you are Kyle David Eichler, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Eichler, you've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty today in file number 21-20412-FH to count 2, malicious destruction of property, $200 or more, but less than $1,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's also your intention to plead guilty today in file number 20-19928-FH to both to 2 of the counts of assaulting, resisting, obstructing a police officer.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand the maximum penalty for those offenses is up to 2 years in prison.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that the maximum penalty for the malicious destruction of property charge is up to 1 year in jail and or $2,000 fine.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And in fact, the fine can be the greater of $2,000 or 3 times the amount of the destruction of property. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it also your intention in file number 18-18904-FH to plead guilty to the violation of probation?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
You understand that file, you have been convicted of assault with a dangerous weapon, and that the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 4 years in prison.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Murphy in the advice that he's given you?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
Neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Ms. Muir?
That's correct, Your Honor. And I'm sorry, maybe I misheard. The assault with a dangerous weapon, that's just a VOP. It's not the original charge.
Correct.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. And Ms. Murphy, is it also your understanding that neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf discussed possible sentence with the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that also your understanding, Mr. Eichler?
Yes, Your Honor.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. That means you'll be giving up the rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have a right to speedy public trial by jury. You could ask for a non-jury trial. If the prosecutor and the court agree, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. with respect to the violation of probation charge, that would be by the preponderance of the evidence. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial, to have the witnesses against you appear at your trial, and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not have that silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you wanted to testify. You understand, Mr. Eichler, that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at a trial.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
You also understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
If you're not a citizen of the United States of America, conviction of a crime can result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
And you understand you're giving those rights up?
Yes, I do.
How do you wish to plead then in file number 21-20412-FH to the charge that on or about July 11, 2020 in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of malicious destruction of property, $200 or more, but less than $1,000?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And in file number 20-19928-FH, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about April 27, 2020 in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of count 1, assaulting, resisting, obstructing a police officer?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And in the same file, how you plead the charge that on or about April 27, 2020 in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, you did commit the offense of count 2, also assaulting, resisting, obstructing a police officer?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And in file 18-18904-FH, how do you wish to plead to the charge that you violated the terms of your probation on September 5th, 2019 by using methamphetamine?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And finally, with respect to file number 20-19928-FH, how do you wish to plead to the charge that you committed a contempt of court by failing to appear at a pretrial on August 12, 2020?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to any of those charges?
No, Your Honor.
You understand that if I accept the plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that the plea is given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record here this morning?
Yes,
or that it
yes,
was
I do,
not
Your Honor.
or that it was not your own choice to enter those pleas?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises, threats, or other inducements to induce the defendant to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
You were muted, Mr.
No, Your Honor. Sorry.
Thank you. And Mr. Eichler, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence would be?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty today, Mr. Eichler?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Murphy, would you like to establish the factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Eichler, let's talk first about the resisting and opposing officer charges. Were you indeed in the city of Adrian, the county of Lenawee, the state of Michigan on April 27, 2020?
Yep.
And on that date and time, do you recall coming into contact with Officer Graff and Sergeant Keene?
Yes.
Okay, did they try to come in contact with you while you were in a vehicle?
Yeah.
And did you get out of the vehicle and run into a house?
Yes.
And did you hear them saying, "Police stop"?
Yeah,
Okay, and then did you indeed hide in the house for a period of time?
yep.
Okay, do you recall how long you were hiding for?
Right, 45 minutes.
About 45 minutes. Okay, and then did you hear them calling for your name while you were hiding?
Yeah,
Okay, and then eventually they did come in contact with you after about 45 minutes and take you into custody, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay, you didn't fight them when you got taken into custody, did you?
No, sir.
Okay, you just didn't respond when they were calling for you.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't stop when they told you to stop when you got out of your vehicle.
No, sir.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm satisfied with the factual basis for the 2 R&Os.
I have 2 questions.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Mr. Eichler, did you know that Sergeant Keen and Officer Graff were police officers for the city of Adrian at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how was Kelsey Nolan involved in this?
She really wasn't.
Was it her house that you were in?
I didn't even go through her house. I went through there's like 3 apartments. I went to the other side of the door and then up the stairs. And we live in a house that's like 4 apartments in one house.
Okay.
So it didn't have nothing to do with her, but she kind of got dragged into it because, guilty by association.
Okay. All right. I'm satisfied with the factual basis.
Thank you.
okay, now let's move on to the destruction of property charge, Mr. Eichler, okay? Were you indeed in the city of Adrian, the county of Lenawee, the state of Michigan on July 11, 2020?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and on that date and time, or around that date and time, did you intentionally, maliciously try to damage a 2006 Chevy Cobalt that belonged to a Rosalinda Sandoval?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the damage that you did, would you agree that it was between the estimation of the property value was about $200 to $1,000 worth of damage that you did to that vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions in regards to the destruction of property charge.
Ms. Meir, any questions on this one?
Sorry, I keep forgetting I'm muting. Yes, I do. For restitution purposes, Mr. Eichler, would you agree that the grand total of damage was $2,512 and that in the course of probation and sentencing that your probation officer will look into how much exactly will be owed? It may not be that full amount, but you would agree that it could be up to that amount?
I guess, ma'am. I don't know how to estimate damage to a vehicle, but I didn't know last time a windshield cost $2,000 something, but
that's based off of an estimate given by.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And you had no permission to touch or do anything to that vehicle, correct?
Oh, ma'am.
And you purposefully damaged it. It was not an accident or anything like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm satisfied with the factual basis.
Thank you, Ms. Meir.
All right, then.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Mr. Eichler, with respect to the violation of probation, you were placed on probation in file number 18-18904-FH back in July of 2019. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And one of the terms of your probation was that you not use any drugs or other controlled substances. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And on September 5th, 2019, you tested positive for methamphetamine. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you tested positive because, in fact, you had used methamphetamine. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then with respect to the contempt, in file 20-19928-FH, you were ordered to appear here in court or by Zoom for a pretrial on August 12, 2020. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did not appear, in fact, at that time. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I believe we've covered everything at this point. Mr. Murphy, anything else that we need to address?
No, Your Honor, I believe that was covered. I did cover all the cases that Mr. Eichler had before, Your Honor, this morning.
All right. Ms. Meir, you agree with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I will accept the pleas then. They have been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Mr. Eichler has full knowledge of his rights. He has had competent counsel. I'm sorry. Has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Ms. Meir?
It has.
And Mr. Murphy?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. All right. I'll now then accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Mr. Eichler has full knowledge of his rights and he has had competent counsel. Court's not made any agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, defense attorney, defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of any of them. We'll refer this matter to the probation department for pre-sentence investigation and set sentencing for September 10th, 2021 at 8:15 a.m. Mr. Eichler, a probation officer will be in touch with you at the jail to do a pre-sentence investigation interview. When you do that interview, please be truthful about these offenses and about your background.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so that sentencing will be on everything, including the violation of probation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge,
Okay, thank you. Mr. Eichler, you can tell the officer that's with you that you are done in court for today. And we would take Shelby Santiago if they have him available.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Have a
Eichler.
good day.
Thank you, Ms. Meir. Thank you, Your Honor.
They said they need to show the
And then Mr. Murphy, why don't we go on the record for Mr. C.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are on the record now in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joseph Scott Seavey. It is file number 21-20380-FH. Today is the date set for a pretrial conference in this matter. The court had sent out a notice of criminal pretrial indicating that a pretrial was set for today's date at 8:15 a.m. There is a proof of service indicating it was sent to the defendant. This matter was scheduled for 8:15 this morning. It's now 11:21, and Mr. CV has not logged into the Zoom session, and he has not appeared here in person. So this time we'll find that he's failed to appear. I will revoke and forfeit his bond. This is his first failure to appear, so he is entitled to the 48-hour grace period. So we'll wait 48 hours. If we do not hear from him, at that time, we'll revoke and forfeit his bond and issue a bench warrant for his arrest. And
Thank you, Your Honor.
Set bond and bench warrant in the amount of $50,000 cash or surety.
And
Thank you, Your Honor.
just as a matter of record, Mr. Seavey was also served with a notice for district court for probable cause conference on August 9th, 2021. So he has, if Mr. Murphy gets a hold of him, he's supposed to appear for that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the issue here is that Mr. Seavey got confused about having the new date issued between when this one was and that date. So once we get in contact with him, we'll figure this issue out, Your Honor. I apologize for him not appearing. He will appear moving forward, though. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Do you have anything left, Mr. Murphy?
I was just looking at my docket right now, Your Honor. I don't see anything else.
You're all set.
Yep. Thank you. You have a good morning. Everyone have a good morning. Thank you.
Thank you too. Okay, we're on the record in the matter. Now we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Shelby Ivan Santiago, file number 20-20104-FH. Today's the date set for a pretrial conference. We're proceeding today by a video conference being streamed to a YouTube channel. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir for the people.
Phoebe Merriman.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Santiago this morning. No objection to the appearance by Zoom, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Santiago's case today?
May I have a breakout with Mr. Santiago, Your Honor?
Yeah, 1 second. All right, I have closed breakout session, so Mr. Santiago should be back shortly.
Your Honor, may I talk to Ms. Muir for just a second? I apologize.
Yeah, I've got to wait till he gets transferred back here to set up a new breakout. All right, Ms. Underwood, are we ready to go on the record?
Just a brief moment with Mr. Santiago. Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Are we ready to go on the record now?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
Okay, we are on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Shelby Ivan Santiago, file number 20-20104-FH. Today's date set for pretrial conference. We are proceeding today by a video conference being streamed to a YouTube channel. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir.
BB Miramap, the people.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Santiago, Your Honor.
And Ms. Underwood, how would Mr. Santiago wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, the offer on this matter currently is Mr. Santiago would be allowed to plead to one count with no supplements, Your Honor. I have discussed that offer with Mr. Santiago. Mr. Santiago is currently serving a violation of probation sentence in Your Honor, downstairs, I believe. Mr. Santiago at present does not wish to avail himself of that offer. Your Honor, I would just like to make sure, what is the current bond situation for Mr. Santiago on these files, Your Honor?
I don't see that it's been changed since the bind over, and it was set at $5,000 PR bond at the bind over.
Your Honor, could we request a $100 bond, cash bond on each file so that Mr. Santiago will get credit for the time he's doing in jail, Your Honor?
Yeah, let me just check one other thing, make sure there's nothing else.
It's okay. If not, I don't want to be stuck in jail when I get out, because I'm not gonna have anybody to post that bond on the second of my out date.
Okay, Your Honor, then that's up to Mr. Santiago.
Okay, based on his request, then I will not change the bond.
Sorry, thank you, Rhonda.
Your Honor, I believe another pretrial date would be appropriate. Or since Mr. Santiago is incarcerated now, Your Honor, perhaps another, oh, but he won't be. Okay, okay.
So do September 15th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so would you-
Does the court wish me to prepare the stipulation, Your Honor?
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I will do so with Ms. Mears' permission. Is that all right?
Yes.
Thank you. I believe that concludes my docket with you for this morning, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Santiago, you can tell the officer there that you are done, and we would take Mr. Gwynn next if he is available.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Milaro. Are you going to need a breakout session with Mr. Gwynn?
Yeah, Judge, I have an offer. I got a review with him, and I think maybe we can get a plea in.
All right.
Brandon Gwynn out of 2-1-10.
Okay, as soon as he gets in the room, I will set that. All right, Mr. Gwynn, I'm going to set up a breakout session for you and Mr. Milaro so you can speak privately.
All right.
Sit in the front.
You don't need it.
You look at the email. That's good. Okay, I closed the breakout room, so he'll be back in a minute if he doesn't move himself over sooner. Okay, Mr. Miller, are you ready to go on the record?
Yes, Judge.
All right, we are on the record then in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Brandon Lee Gwynn, file number 21-20362-FH, 21-20363-FH, 21-20364-FH, 21-20365-FH, and 21-20397-FH. These are all set for a pretrial this morning. We are proceeding today by a video conference being streamed to a YouTube channel. First, let me have the attorneys place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Muir for the people.
BB Muir on behalf of the people.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of Brandon Gwynn.
Thank you. And Mr. Malero, how does Mr. Gwynn wish to proceed this morning?
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Gwynn is going to enter pleas of guilty on each file on the 6.2 FH, 6.3 FH, 6.4 FH, 6.5 FH, and 9.7 FH file. On each one of those files, he will be pleading guilty to larceny in a building, a 4-year felony, so 1 count per file, for a total of 5. Any supplements or habitual offenders would be dismissed, and all other remaining counts in each of those files will also be dismissed at time of sentencing. I think that is our agreement. Also, that the sentences would run concurrent.
All right, and Ms. Meir, is that a complete and accurate statement of the agreement as you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in the 6-2 file, that would be count 1, larceny in a building. The 6-3 file, count 1, larceny in a building. 6-4 file, count 2, larceny in a building. 6-5 file, count 2, larceny in a building. And 9-7 file, count 1, larceny in a building. Mr. Nguyen, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, or nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you are Brandon Lee Nguyen, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Nguyen, you've had an opportunity to hear the statements of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty today to 1 count of larceny in the building in each of these 5 files?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Malero and the advice that he's given you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that the maximum penalty for each of those offenses is up to 4 years in prison?
Yes, Your Honor.
Neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court other than as we've discussed on the record here this morning. Is that correct, Ms. Meir?
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. Malero?
That is correct, Judge.
Is that also your understanding, Mr. Nguyen?
Yes, Your Honor.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. That means you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have the right to a speedy public trial by jury. You could ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and the court agreed, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you're guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at your trial, to have the witnesses against you appear at your trial, and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not have that silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you wanted to testify. Do you understand, Mr. Nguyen, that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at a trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you also understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to this plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are not a citizen of the United States of America. Conviction of a crime can result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you're giving those rights up?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you wish to plead then to the charge in file number 21-20362-FH that on or about November 23rd, 2020 in the city of Hudson, county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of larceny in a building?
Guilty.
And in file number 21-20363-FH, how do you plead to the charge that on or about November 24, 2020 in the city of Hudson, county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of larceny in a building?
Guilty.
And file number 21-20364-FH, how do you plead to the charge that on or about October 31st, 2020 in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of larceny in a building?
Guilty.
And in file number 21-20365-FH, how do you plead to the charge that on or about September 26, 2020 in Hudson Township, Lenawee County, Michigan, that you did commit the offense of larceny in a building?
Guilty.
And in file number 21-20397-FH, how do you plead to the charge that on or about November 25th, 2020 in the city of Hudson, county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of larceny in a building?
Guilty.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to any of those charges?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if I accept the plea, you'll be giving up any and all claims that the pleas were given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record here this morning, or that it was not your own choice to enter those pleas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than plea bargaining to induce the defendant's plea guilty?
No, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
Mr. Gwynn, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence would be?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Malero, would you like to establish the factual basis?
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Do you want me to do it, Mr. Malaro?
Yeah, if you have them all ready to go, sure.
I do. So, Mr. Gwynn, I'm going to ask you a couple questions just to establish the factual basis of these pleas. And I'm just going to go through all 5 files individually and then let your attorney go back through and see if he has anything he wants to clear up, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to start with file ending in 362. Were you in the city of Hudson, County of Lenawee on November 23rd, 2020?
Yeah.
And do you remember going into a trailer?
The trailer, yeah.
You did?
Into a trailer?
Yes. And take tools?
Not into a trailer, no. It would have been a little like shed.
A little shed?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you take out of the shed?
Cool.
And they weren't your tools, correct?
Right.
And you didn't have permission to take those?
Right.
And you had no intention of returning those tools to the lawful owner?
Right.
Okay. And let's see. Case number ending in 397. Were you in the city of Hudson, County of Lenawee on November 25th, 2020?
Yep.
And did you go in someone else's garage and take tools on that date?
Yeah.
Okay. And you had no permission to take those tools or go into that garage?
Right.
And you had no intention of returning those tools, correct?
Correct.
In file ending in 363, were you in the city of Hudson, County of Lenawee on November 24th, 2020?
Yes.
And did you go into someone else's garage and steal tools on that date?
Yeah.
And you had no permission to go into that garage and take those tools?
Right.
And you had no intention of returning those tools, is that correct?
Right.
In file ending in 364, were you in the city of Adrian, County of Lenawee on October 31st, 2020?
Yeah.
And did you go into Barnett's Automotive Repair Shop on that date?
Yeah.
And did you take a Snap-on Impact driver on that date?
Yeah.
And did you have any permission to take that from the repair shop?
No.
And you had no intention of returning that, is that correct?
Correct.
And I believe the last one then would be file number ending in 365. Were you in the Township of Hudson, County of Lenawee on September 26, 2020?
Yes.
And did you go into someone else's barn on Cadmus Road in Hudson Township?
Yes.
And did you take 2 ATVs and a couple of other items out of that barn?
Yeah.
And did you have any permission to take those?
No.
And you had no intention of returning those, correct?
No.
And on that event in September, were you with someone named Bradley Schultz at that time?
Yes.
I'm satisfied with the factual basis in all the cases, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Malero, anything else?
No, Judge.
All right. Has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Ms. Wise?
Miss Mirren, yes, it has.
Wasn't there one more file? Sorry.
Did we get the 397 file?
No, I
Yeah,
don't
we
think
did.
she did.
She
Yep,
did.
that was the second one I believe I did.
Yep, she covered it.
All right, has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Mr. Malero?
Yes, you've complied, Judge.
I will accept the pleas then. It has been given understandably, they have been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. He has had competent counsel. The court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, defense attorney, defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of any of them. We'll refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation and set sentencing for September 17, 2021 at 8:15 a.m. Mr. Gwynn, someone from the probation department will be in touch with you to do a pre-sentence investigation interview. When you do that interview, please be truthful about these offenses and about your background.
Yes.
The bond will be continued as it's currently set. Ms. Holly, you need any information from Mr. Gwynn at this time?
Well, unless it gets out, I guess I need an address and phone number.
517.